welcome back to the Film Alchemist podcast, a show where we take the movies we love, break them apart, to find out what gives them their magic. I'm your host, Josh Gravy, joined as always by my friend, co-host, and a mean green mother from outer space.
Little shop of horrors, little shop of terrors, call a cop. Little shop of horrors, oh, Alex Dandino.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't stop. Just keep singing. That might be better than the show. Who knows? Maybe this is the lane that we've missed, is just musical theater.
Just musicals.
The problem is I look like one of Steve Martin's botched teeth job, essentially, is the singing level I have. Unless it's Kiss. That's it. No. Welcome back, guys. We are continuing. Actually, we are finishing today our month of birthday well wishes for dear friend and host, Dandino. This pick today comes from me, man. I'm the co-host of this show. Alex is one of my very best friends in the whole wide world. So I tried to pick a movie that he would love to celebrate him, to have a great talk with my friend for his birthday month. I picked Little Shop of Horrors, the 1986 version. Moranis, Steve Martin, Bill Murray. I fucking unabashedly love this movie. I think most people do. But before that, a wee bit of business. Everyone, please go to patreon.com/filmalchemistpod to support the show. Here's the deal. Starting very, very soon, in just a couple days, it will be October 1st. When the bell strikes on October 1st, we will begin the October Mega Marathon. 31 days, 31 brand new horror movie podcasts for your listening pleasure, right? A lot of people do watch list. We're binging all the scary movies we can think of, rewatching franchises. We are doing that with you. Every single day of the month of October, you will have a brand new podcast if you go to patreon.com/filmalchemistpod to support the show. 3 of our shows, including a feature-length commentary on the amazing Japanese film House, and 2 others selected by our patrons, will be available over there on Patreon. We have a great community. We have a huge Patreon-exclusive library. We also have a Tales from the Crypt miniseries that's running right now. Very fun. We're about to start some more of those once we clear October. So lots of good stuff on the horizon for those patrons who are nice enough to support us. So please do that. The YouTube Film Alchemist. We're on all the socials. We appreciate you guys liking, commenting, engaging, sharing the clips, right? We all have to bow down before social media. TikTok, YouTube, that helps us out, man. Film Alchemist on YouTube. Subscribe, all that good stuff, right? Social media. Email the show, filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. We're easy to get a hold of. Make sure you're leaving 5-star ratings and reviews wherever you find podcasts. That helps us out with the algorithm. We appreciate that. Make sure you go to misfitparade.net so you can see movies I'm making. We may be playing in a theater near you with our short film, Sugar Tits. We are currently working on our first feature, Mr. Cream Jeans Hidey Hole, and we have some fun stuff to share from that. So pay attention. Also, go check out my friends at Looper. You can see some video work I'm doing for them over there. All right. Little Shop of Horrors. Musical. Comedy. I mostly have always been on the I hate musicals. I don't like the interrupting for songs. I don't get it, blah, blah, blah. I fucking love this musical. I love the monster at the core of it. I love the horror sci-fi blend. It's fucking hilarious. It has some of my all-time favorite like horror icon or comedy icons in it, right? Even John Candy making a nice little cameo. I fucking love everything about this movie. And I'll say this, the songs fucking rip in this movie. The songs are fucking incredible in this movie. There's such an energy and a vibrance to these songs. I love this movie. Behind Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I think just has a little more magic in it. It's a little kind of just lightning bolt from the sky.
Sure.
But I think you could make a case that this movie kicks the shit out of Rocky Horror on almost every single level of filmmaking. The songs are probably a little stronger on average. But to me, that's just a personal preference thing, right? Like, I'm just a Rocky Horror guy. But, I mean, to me, these two are just neck and neck. My favorite musicals. I know I'm not versed in the musical data. So if you're somehow a musical theater fucking dork and you found your way to this pod, sorry I'm a Philistine, right? Sorry I don't like Rent. Sorry I don't shower with spiky loofahs up my ass to Cats.
To be fair, the 2 you just listed, my least favorite musicals.
All right, I just went in on musical theater people. I'm sorry. Please stay. please?
No.
I'm like
Rent and
Steve
Cats
Martin,
are
man.
terrible.
I just like
don't give a
to
shit.
abuse musical
I am
theater
one of the
nerds.
few people who does not like Rent, so that's that's fine.
I like the movie about making Rent.
But by the way, nobody likes cats, so it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Even the butthole cut. All right, Alex.
The
I
long-awaited-
offered this to you. This was something, unlike the other movies, I just picked this for you. I didn't do this because we have any special bond to it. I just was like, it's kind of everything I like. I think it's a great lead into October. It's got some musical numbers. I know we both like this movie. Opening thoughts on Little Shop of Horrors.
I think you picked this movie because it blends together the two things that you and I find probably most palatable about each of our respective movie-going tastes. My mother raised me on musicals, so I watched a lot of musicals. I listened to a lot of
Represent
musicals,
Double D. Shouts out.
including Little Shop of Horrors. I also I love horror comedies. They were fun. I saw them when I was a kid. Like, this was like probably the most palatable horror for my family a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this is right up your alley. So I am going to do this little history. So for those of you who don't know, this is based on a film from the 1960s that Roger Corman directed called Little Shop of Horrors. It was not a musical originally.
Right.
It's a black and white. You can find it anywhere. It's available. It's very good. Early Jack Nicholson as the Bill Murray character, which is pretty cool.
Baby Jack Nicholson.
So this started in So this version of Little Shop of Horrors is an off Broadway show that started in 1982. The music is by Howard Ashman.
What does off mean for those of us that don't fucking know? Off
Broadway is like close to like black box theater kind of thing. Off Broadway is like, oh, it's not like ready for it's like not quite ready for prime time type stuff. Gotcha. They're still workshopping, testing it out, that kind of thing. Yep. Now the music is by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, who you guys all probably know from Disney. They have written the most iconic Disney music of probably our generation for sure. They are the duo that brought us Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. Like, these are big musical
banger
numbers.
after banger after banger.
So it's no surprise the music is an absolute, must for this one, and it's awesome. It's doo-wop. It's great, and there's a lot to love, I think, in a movie musical, which I like. This is probably one of the rare movie musicals that kind of just works, even if you're stopping to do a song. The feast for your eyes is pretty great.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I had forgotten how much this movie plays on the. It really sets us in this economic crisis, right? Which I guess I always kind of blend over this because I get lost in the Seymour and Audrey story. Audrey 2 is very captivating. I forgot how this movie just starts in the fucking gutters. It's very visually arresting start, right? When we're doing the down on Skid Row stuff, right? Right at the start of the film. These singers, right? In their blue dresses, their hair done up.
Chorus.
Yeah, the street chorus. Just kind of walking through this fucking drab, colorless, wet, dirty street, right? These people with no colors, right? These sad fucking people. Homeless everywhere. Right, almost every scene in this show is punctuated by a homeless person walking in, almost as if they are the proverbial pen popping the fantasies. Yeah, I had kind of forgotten about the starkness of this economic crisis in the core of the movie, and it's such a great play. It gives it like, and again, I'm assuming there's a lot of musicals that do this, but to me, it gives us this kind of extra gritty vibe, right? About, yes, these people are singing, which I think is often kind of generically off-putting, and the kind of way they're singing. It feels like one of those, I'm not invited to this. I'm not part of this club. They don't want me here. This feels like people at the bottom, and it's like, well, yeah, if things are that shitty, like, sing your heart out, man. Go for it. Especially, I love at the start when we see the street chorus girls. Right? Yeah. And then, Martin's girlfriend, Gina, and his neighbor, by the way, represent, if you're a big Martin fan like me, one of the best fucking sitcoms ever.
Yes.
We see them right after when Mushkin's like, hey, man, why don't you go better yourself? She's like, in Skid Row? There's no fucking bettering yourself in Skid Row. Fuck you, man. And we see the girls who were the coarse kind of dream girls also just being part of the neighborhood, right? I think this element... It weighed on me a lot more today thinking about how to talk about the movie. Mm-hmm. I love that just people at the absolute fucking bottom just yearning for any fucking sunlight, man, any fucking drop of water, right? Their leaves are dried out. I think this movie is beautifully set up.
I think for a sci-fi, that's what you like. Again, it follows the tenets of great.
That's a great way to say it. I always forget this is a fucking sci-fi.
Yeah, like it follows the tenets of great sci-fi horror, which is like you're meeting people who are trying to, and again, whenever we meet heroes in these kinds of movies, particularly, they're always people who are trying to figure their shit out. They're always trying to better themselves, whether it's fucking, like The Fog, fucking Escape from New York, all great sci-fi and horror really has a main character like Seymour who's just trying to figure out how to be better, how to get better, how to get the girl, how to say what he's trying to say, how to speak, how to hear his voice to hear in the world.
Well, it's also a place, where the world is turned on you. It's not what you recognize, and it's so fucking cold and empty to you.
Yeah, Skid Row is, again, the most joyful thing about Skid Row is the song they sing about Skid Row, where everyone is like, "This place sucks,"
but that
and then
song,
you hear them hit the high note, and you're like,
the basic citizenry come out and sing.
Yeah.
And their voices are kind of all over the place. Like when the guy's like, "Or fucking slop," and he dumps the bucket out, right? I love watching the hoi polloi, as Frasier would say.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Come out and actually join the singing, right? This living vessel that is this kind of fucking burrow, right? That's tucked in and down and out. And all these people are at the bottom. I thought there was something, and again, it adds this whole thing to Mushkin's being like a florist in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right? Like this absolute
well, it's like, it's the rose that grew from concrete. You're just absolute, weird that's here.
That is a poetic way to say it, right? It's just, there's no reason
pretty sure I got that from Tupac,
in Skid Row
actually.
should be spending $1
yeah.
on a flower, right? But there is this fucking hope and optimism, and what is the point of $1 sometimes if not to bring us fleeting joy for buying something that's not essential? Every dollar, if it's used for essential stuff, makes it harder to go to work, man. And some people live that life. I don't know. It really sets up the whole basis of it in such just a meaty way that I guess I just kind of roll past when I think about it.
I think that will because again, this is sort of the trick of musicals. This is why I like musicals. Not just because I think some musicals are better than others and so on and so forth. I like musicals because as a concept, they shouldn't work at all. As a concept of literally stopping and letting a character sing about their innermost feelings, doing a monologue. That's kind of dumb. You're literally going to stop a show in the middle just so this person can be performative and awesome. You're in a movie that does not play because hey, we got 90 minutes. Let's go. Let's get through this thing. Okay. What are we doing? Musicals, you're sitting in the theater. That's part of the deal. You're buying the ticket. You're going to the show. What's great is that baseline of Skid Row. We know everybody on Skid Row. Everybody here thinks it sucks. So when you get into Mushniks, everyone there knows that Mushnik sucks too. Seymour, Audrey, and Mushnik are all this place sucks. We know, and we're also probably going to close. And then that other element of whimsy that comes from musicals pops back in when Seymour's hey, wait, I have an idea, that kind of thing. And that's when we get the Audrey 2 intro and this great song, Doodah, which is his recollection when he's explaining to Christopher Guest. Great cameo, by the way.
Yeah. Where he's just I was at the shop from Gremlins and I happened to find this little...
yeah, again,
a trope
not saying it's politically correct.
Okay,
but...
that trope disappeared, right?
I'm totally fine that that's not around anymore. But he's I was in the rare flower district, daddy, and that's
some weird shit. Where'd you find it? Asian person. It's okay. All of our parents were just makes absolute fucking sense.
It's this. I think this is kind of the crazy thing about the musical too. Is this one particularly just has earworms, just all over the place. Yeah. Good God, you walk around the rest of the day humming it just because I literally was walking down to the car and I started walking like Seymour what am I doing? I'm in it.
Okay, so let's look at this. What is your favorite of the songs in this movie? Because it was nominated for an Oscar, I think, for Mean Green Mother from Outer Space.
Mean Green Mother from Outer Space, which is written for the film, by the way, which we will get to.
Yeah. So there's Skid Row, Doodah, Suddenly Seymour's like been stuck in my head all day.
Yeah, I mean,
it's tough. I think the Levi Stubbsness of it. Let's just jump to this. Levi Stubbs, right? The legendary frontman of the Four Tops. His voice performance is Audrey too. As good as everyone else in the movie is, and as funny as they are, and how all that the Audrey 2 voice is that is the magic that's infused in this movie that takes it up a notch. That mixture of that beautiful puppetry, right? Frank Oz knows how to fucking sell this. But that voice, dude. That fucking voice. And so for me, when he sings the Mean Green Mother from Outer Space, there is something he's having so much fucking fun, it sounds like. Singing this song.
It's just a great part. Like, it is a really great part for, a fucking doo-wop singer who gets to finally be
I would do that or Feed Me. I also, those are the two songs. It has to be a Levi Stubbs song for me.
I would say Feed Me is pretty good. I do just love Dadu. I love that doo-wop shit. I think that's really fun. But I mean, Mean Green Mother from Outer Space is fucking righteous.
It's just a fucking lightning bolt, and it's right at the end as we're about to fucking fight. He's got all the little Audrey bulbs singing the chorus.
I'll say this second is Dentist is also really good because you're just
that song. I don't have anything for that song. There's just something about Steve Martin. And I love the idea that he's pretty much his intro where he rolls in on the bike is so fucking funny. The thing where he keeps letting it go and he just parks itself. Everything he does is magic to me in this. The song is not my favorite, right? It feels a little more musical-y to me. But I do love the idea. He's just my mom saw me torturing and murdering animals.
So she's be a dentist.
Son, you got to get paid to hide your fucking problems. Yeah, dentist. And him just mangling dental patients. This
has got to be the first instance I had when I was I'm never going to the dentist. That place sucks.
Yeah, fuck
that guy's definitely there.
Yeah, fuck Dr. Giggles, dude. It's all about fucking Steve Martin and this. It's so fucking funny, right? It is a good moment. They pay it off really well with the fucking Bill Murray beat. You are something special. You are something. He's
who better? Who better to do that?
Every time he picks up a new implement, and Bill Murray's he does that eye roll thing. He crushes in that.
When you're a kid too, I'll say this: when I was younger, when I saw this, I did not understand. I was he just enjoys being hurt, and I'm and then when you're in your teens and 20s, you're he enjoys being hurt. Okay,
I thought he was just a mean guy. I was is he making fun of the dentist? Yeah, when you're young and see this for the first time, you're not all the way into the fucking deep sexual minutia that we're watching. Right? And it's just I thought he was just, because when he leaves, he's and he kind of laughs out the door, right? I was he's just a bully at school. He's being mean to the dentist. And then the dentist is give me my laughing gas mask, he's Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet.
Yeah, it's a Blue Velvet moment.
There's something happening here that I'm not fully grasping. There's a whole my bits are still unawoken, and I have no idea what's happening.
I'm not.
It's just weird for weird's sake. Yeah.
And when you see it when you're older, you're whoa, this was not the time to
I think Mushkin's right. I don't think that dentist is a great guy. I think he might be a good dude. Something.
He might be kind of a creep.
Also, I was I might also wear that laughing gas mask and have a fucking run at someone. Maybe.
Here's the other thing. This is also why Dentist is one of my favorites. So when my mom was the music director for this one at Aurora Community Theater. So we got to watch. I got to watch this. So the dentist part in the show. Dentist part is the one you can have the most fun with. So that's why the dentist songs are usually particularly the song. If you're a fucking hammy big dude like me, this is the part you want because you're not going to be fucking Seymour, and you're definitely not Audrey. Although I definitely have the tits for it. Sorry, your Ellen Green, they're just out there.
Frame, maybe.
What do you want me to do?
I'd stack them up, put them on the slab.
But I mean. The dentist part and Audrey too are the ones if you're doing community theater, those are the parts you're gunning for. I'll say this: it is hard to listen to white guys do Audrey 2 in the Midwest when you know that Levi Stubbs is the voice in your head?
That's a dude. He's like one of the. Everyone talks about like Tim Curry as Frankenfurter. Actually, we have a buddy who's like a big theater guy, and he was like really militant that like everyone who's done Frankenfurter is better than Tim Curry. Neither here nor there. I think that's like an iconic, like really made a meal out of that. Levi Stubbs as Audrey 2 is never mentioned in that category, and you're like, it's one of those. That's it. You like anyone who tries to do it for the rest of time will be doing just a lesser version of that. Like he fucking obliterated the mold.
He rips.
I mean, everyone else in this movie you could replace. Literally any character. I fucking love Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis. You could replace him.
The original off-Broadway Audrey 2 is a guy named Ron Taylor who was like in The Wiz. Like those, nice. Like these, like the guy, like the. I'll say this: the actors who do it on stage are also unbelievable. But I think this is like the thing is, Audrey 2's voice is not interchangeable. Those that like Seymour and Audrey are pretty interchangeable characters. Not to say that they're bad performances or anything like that. They're just they're interchangeable actors. You can make them anybody, and they work. I mean, they've been fucking. Jake Gyllenhaal was Seymour on Broadway before. Like,
really?
Come on. Yes.
Oh, that feels like trash. I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal would be like, "Oh, you like to drink humans?" And like, he just looks like a guy who's like, "I'm going to put myself in you." And it's like Audrey's like, "Wait, what? What the fuck?"
I mean, really, really famous people have been Seymour. Yeah. Like, I mean, like great.
Here's the other thing, though. I've never seen it on Broadway. There is an absolute fucking craft to how they built this Audrey 2.
Absolutely.
That melding of like this level of fucking animatronic is so incredible. The animatronic and puppet mix in this is so fucking incredible.
Yeah. It's a Muppet
thing, essentially.
It's a Muppet. It's all the Henson guys. Like, not Jim Henson specifically, but obviously Frank Oz is the director of this, so it's like that is the star of the show. This fucking
But again, it's like
awesome.
Such a beautifully crafted monster. That mixed with the voice is what, to me, it's like, dude, good luck ever trying to do that better.
Yeah.
Like, again,
that is what's in everybody's face.
I feel like Audrey 2 is one of those things that we just don't talk enough about how fucking cool Audrey 2 is in this movie. Like, with the great horror monsters, all that kind of stuff. Like, we don't think about it. And I think it's because there's like a base level silliness to this movie that we kind of gloss over that monster's fucking cool and scary. That monster does the Freddy Krueger where like it's loving making fun of Seymour. It's loving playing with his ass the whole time, right? It's playing on his hopes and dreams. It somehow has some kind of fucking psychic manipulation powers where it is manifesting things in his world. It calls his girlfriend just to be like, "Hey, what up, bitch? It's me.
What up, baby?"
And it's like, that's fucking wild. That's not just, I'm a ravenous fucking plant. That is some fucking personal shit. Not only that, Audrey fucking gets the quarter to call Audrey 1, and it's just like, "It's me." And he's looking out the window. She's like, "Oh my God." And then all of a sudden, Audrey 2's looking for the quarter in the change slot, which is one of those jokes young people will just lose. They won't have done payphones as much. But they're trying to get your quarterback. Classic. You're like, Audrey 2 is loving the carnage they are inflicting around this world, right? It's fucking wonderful. And again, there's such a mean spirit. There's such a focused malevolence to it that I think, again, because it's Rick Moranis and Steve Martin and Bill Murray and John Candy and Christopher Guest and all these comedy legends, right? That we forget, like, this movie's got some fucking teeth. This is a mean fucking movie. This is a plant that comes down and essentially is like, "Hey, fucking brokest motherfuckers on planet Earth, you want a taste of the good life? You want to live somewhere green, eh? I am the gatekeeper to that." They essentially just want to live in my house. That's the dream these two characters had. And this plant is fucking predatory, and it's, I found the fucking bottom of the barrel. I can weaponize their just basic desire to not struggle.
So, okay, now, this isn't, because I agree. I think this is like a really mean show. Like, there's a lot of meanness in this show, besides like domestic
Steve Martin,
abuse.
well, the domestic abuse kind of gets washed past, right? Like we
Really,
see Seymour
really
go
brushed
red
under the
when
rug.
like we see the silhouette of her smacking. It was something today that I was like, oh, I always remember Steve Martin being funnier, and then you see that and you're like, he's much more Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet than I rememred.
Yeah. So
Like way
again,
more.
it's a mean show.
Pabst Blue laughing gas.
So question.
Yeah.
You watched you had the theatrical version, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he electrocutes Audrey 2 at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the musical does not end that way. The original musical does not end that way. You might know this because they shot the actual. Okay, so the musical actually ends with Audrey 2 eating Audrey 1.
Wow. Okay.
Seymour pulls her out. Gets her out of Audrey 2. She's mortally wounded. Her dying wish, her dying breath, she says she wants to be fed to Audrey 2 so the piece of her is always with Seymour. So he feeds her to Audrey 2.
Yeah.
Audrey 2 then eats Seymour. And then the saplings go worldwide and take over the planet. That is the original musical
Jim
ending.
Belushi actually slings them.
Yeah. So that's the original musical ending. They wanted to do this ending for the movie.
Yeah.
Howard Ashman and Frank Oz were like, that's got to be the ending. And David Geffen, who was the producer, was like, oh, yeah, I can't sell that. Like, there's no fucking way you're going to be able to do this ending. And he's like, we really want to do it. He's like, all right, I will let you shoot it.
Okay.
I'll let you shoot it. They did it. They shot the ending. And also, you can find it online. It's fucking righteous, by the way. Like, giant...
Do you prefer that
giant ending? I do, actually. It's fucking awesome, okay? And here's why. There's these giant Godzilla Audrey 2s destroying this awesome New York set. And it ends with Audrey 2 atop the Statue of Liberty like fucking King Kong. It's awesome. You can find it. I'll post it when we post this episode. I will post this alternate ending because they shot
I'm looking it up
it's
right
awesome.
here. Original. Type in Little Shop of Horrors original ending.
Original ending. It's fucking awesome. Like, it's really, really cool.
Okay, so the giant Audrey's eating New York City. You've got me on. I will say the idea of the battered woman and just the fucking meek orphan.
It's not great. It's fucking mean. That's what it is.
Yeah, and they just have to like get fucking consumed. It is almost like, oh, you want to try to reach your way into the middle class? How fucking dare you? There's a punishment for that. There's something so mean about it. But I get the catharsis of if someone is going to build a world where that happens to two people we like as much as these two characters, then yeah, fuck it, let them burn. Like, I do. Yeah. I'll say this. The electrocution ending is fucking weak.
It's pretty weak.
Like, to me, this movie is a 5 out of 5 kind of movie. It just gives me everything I want and more.
Sure.
If there's something I don't like, it is just like how do we kill a giant plant? An electrical wire. That's pretty stupid. Audrey 2 sells it by going, oh shit. Right? Like, has a funny like wink and a nod with us. Right. We see that. But I'll say this though, the ending felt tacked on to me. Like, that wasn't the original ending. Because Audrey 2 blows up before the money comes in, right? Even if they got it from Mushkin, who got eaten by the plant, right? They stole what money he had. How did they get that place somewhere green? They just ran out. That felt to me like, oh, we're back in the dream. Like, they didn't make it. Seymour's going to jail.
You could say that that's what it like. So like
it felt off. Like, that didn't feel like it belonged in the movie. So I'm not shocked to hear you say that they had this other more dour ending. That actually makes a ton of sense to me now.
Yeah, so they were trying to do the original ending for the musical, which, like, again, when you're leaving a musical, it's just, like, there's a lot of energy. The stage plays over. You're like, oh wow, that was so much fun. Like, that level of it's that veneer of celluloid versus live theater. I think that, like, that's where the translation is lost because then they shot this, they made the movie, they showed the original ending, and it tested fucking horribly. And even Frank Oz and Howard Ashman admitted, like, yeah, that did not work. Like, so they rewrote the ending so that it would be this happier ending, essentially. But
which is funny because again, it doesn't play like they actually.
I've always thought. I think it's just like
It like
because
switches
then also
to like an
there's
Edward Scissorhands aesthetic that we've only
yeah,
seen
and there's
in
like
a
the
fantasy.
Audrey 2. There's the Audrey 2 on the picket fence, and you're like, okay, so it's not over, or
Also,
is
you're
it
like, how did
just
that
this
fucking
weird
Audrey
dream?
2 get there? And so to me, it felt like an unreality. It felt like
I think it absolutely
It
could
felt
be.
like they were showing us the like her dream was nightmarish in some way.
Well,
which
you
is
want to
bizarre.
see. It is. I think for me, it's just that's why I like the original ending, because you could have that be the original ending still, and it could like you could have that picket fence ending, and then it could fade into what really happened.
Yeah,
which
is
is
them just
kinda
murdering
cool.
everyone.
Yeah, which again, like it's pretty fucking cool to watch. Like it's like I think they said it was like something like $5 million to produce this
Damn,
huge,
just
like,
the ending.
yeah, like that, like the original planned
I'm watching
ending.
it
Like
now.
that,
It's
like, was, like,
fucking
5
wild. Like it is
It's pretty
kinda
fucking
wild.
nuts. It's really like also it's really like 1950s,
Yeah.
Red Scare
It
stuff.
kinda
It's
gets,
really
well,
cool.
It gets back to that like classic, Beast
classic
from
monster
20,000
stuff.
Fathoms, right? Like those giant creature features.
It reminds
we
me
love.
of like them, like the
Yeah.
giant ants and shit. Like that's sort of the
Yeah.
way the end. Like, and again, it works. I think
I'll
it's a
say
fucking
this
blast.
to me as like a kid who grew up on like rubber suit kaiju movies. This is fucking rad.
Yeah, that'll fucking
This
get
is
you.
fucking
Like,
cool, and they're selling us that the whole movie that Audrey's getting bigger and bigger
yeah.
and more uncontrollable. Right? I'll say this: I'm right here at the part where she's about to eat Seymour. It does hurt my soul.
Yeah,
I
okay,
do not
so-
like Audrey. I feel like whatever. At the end, she it is what it is. Her eating Seymour is really bumming me out. It should matter with
so-
Audrey because she has a fucking shitty, sad life.
Here's the quote. Frank Oz. Okay, so this is on Wikipedia. As the film was nearing completion, the excited studio set up a test screening in San Jose. Oz said, "For every musical number, there was applause. They loved it. It was just fantastic until Rick and Ellen died. And then the theater became a refrigerator, an icebox. It was awful, and the cards were just awful. You have to have a 55% to recommend to really be released, and we got a 13. It was a complete disaster."
I will say this.
I mean,
we're watching this having seen it young. We've had years to like love this movie and build nostalgia for it. So now seeing just a different version of it is fine. It's like a fun game. I get it. Like his glasses just dropped in broken, and you're like, that fucking sucks.
That is
Seymour
fucking sad.
Gets butt fucked on this whole deal. Seymour didn't do anything wrong.
You love Seymour the whole movie, and then it's like, nah, he's gone.
Yeah, fuck
died.
him. And it's like,
Fuck him.
what?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, this like
Again,
patent
it's-
shot with the American flag. This is wild.
The one, okay, when Audrey 2's on top of the Statue of Liberty, that is the fucking shot. I'm like, damn, that is cool.
Yeah, the chorus singers are coming up. You're like, this just took a fucking horrendously dark turn.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fucking crazy. We got to talk about Rick Moranis, right? We actually haven't had many chances to gush about Rick Moranis on the show. I don't think we've
He's
covered
so
a lot of his films.
fucking good, dude.
What about Rick Moranis makes him the perfect Seymour to you?
I think he just has this combination. Like, Rick Moranis has always had this combination of the ability to be funny and sympathetic, but not to the point where, like, oh, what a dork. Like, I don't know what that is, but, like, that joie
Even
de
though
vivre
he's
has
always playing like a stereotypical dork.
is still sort of cool. Like, I don't know what that is.
It's like Lewis next door, Wayne
when he-
Zelinsky, Seymour. Like
when
these
he's-
are dorks.
when he's Lewis in Ghostbusters is probably the best example. Lewis
Yeah.
in Ghostbusters, like, no one should like Lewis.
Yeah. Well, all right then. Okay.
And yet-
all right. Hey, oh.
Yeah. Oh, I got a 45-minute workout. I sped up the tape
there's
and did it in
something where
15
you're
minutes.
like,
I got a great
he's
sweat. on.
trying.
Yeah, you're like-
He's trying.
Maybe that's what it is. Is it because Rick Moranis is just trying?
Oh my god.
You can
this is
see Rick Moranis trying. Like, his
Rick
character is
Moranis
just
is
trying.
the guy who, like, yeah, the world's picking on him all the time, but he won't give up, man. I think there's because that's the thing. Rick Moranis doesn't have an everyman quality. Rick Moranis is whatever The Rock is, right? And you're like, The Rock is not an everyman. Rick Moranis is the inversion of that. He can play smarter than us, like a scientist. He's kind of small and feeble and nerdy and he does that, like I'm a nerd voice. Like that's perfect. There is something else in him though. There's kind of a fire. There are these moments where he starts kind of yelling and his voice goes up a little bit. Like when they're singing and he's like, he looks like plant food to me, right? That song or whatever. And I was like, yeah, there it is. There's a fire in Rick Moranis. And so he's not an everyman.
All of us have.
But you root
all
for
of us
him
have
hardcore.
All of us are all of us deep down have that animalistic thing, though. I think that's like the Rick Moranis is all of us. He just gets to be on camera. We're just like, I have to bury this like animalistic thing where, yeah, I want a guy who beats his girlfriend to die. Of course, like there's deep down that thing, like, you know, it's like, that's not cool.
So you think Rick Moranis is like the good manners we put on to exist in a society?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know,
this is fuck. I'm still watching the ending of this. They're flipping cars now. This is literally Godzilla 98 right now.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And like it's fucking great.
Yeah.
Those test audiences were fucking rubes. This is way better than the electrocution. But back to Rick Moranis. There's such a lovable nature to him, right?
It is.
He's kind of like the nerdy guy that you're like, I'm glad he like made it after high school, right? They're like, he went on and did good, and Seymour in this just being this kind of like fountain of optimism, right? This guy at the bottom, like we just always root for those guys. There's something childlike and empathetic about Rick Moranis, right? But he, like when he goes back in and he's like, I made Audrey too. I got to go face it down to save that. There's this great heroic quality to him, right? A man who doesn't look like a traditional movie hero. I don't know. There's something about Rick Moranis. He's one of those guys that he was so popular when we were little, right? Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kid was like a fucking huge hit in our age group. And it's just, I've always loved that guy, but I think he is one of those harder to pin down, like what made him step out from that. There are a lot of guys that play that like aloof, nerdy dad lover who's not going to get it. He had that thing that made him, he could do that role, but as like a leading man, which is a really kind of weird Venn diagram that he nailed down.
You know, I think he's just, I think that's the best way to put it. He is this Venn diagram of all the things that we wish we were in a lot of ways.
Almost complete approval rating. I've never heard anyone be like, Rick Moranis fucking sucks.
Actually, I've heard somebody say Rick Moranis fucking sucked, and people made them apologize. Have you ever seen that article?
No. Oh my God, no. If I saw that, I would fucking knock someone's...
Real thing that happened. Someone called Rick Moranis an asshole, and some people around him someone found it on the internet and made him apologize to Rick Moranis. That's how beloved Rick Moranis is.
Dude, this is like a real thing. I would be fucking out of my seat. I'd be like, we're moving furniture,
like,
brother. Yeah, you change it. You take that back.
You take it back.
Haven't we been through enough? Can't the world have one fucking good thing? That guy just like was like, oh, I'm one of the world's biggest stars, but I need to go fucking be a good dad to my kids.
I need to be a good dad for my kids.
Take it.
You fucking
want to
take
get
that
rocked?
back.
You want to get your shit rocked? You fucking take it back.
Okay, I want to talk about. So this movie got nominated for 2 Oscars.
Yep.
The year it came out.
Best song. Mean Green Mother from Outer Space.
Mean Green Mother from Outer Space and Best Visual Effects.
Obviously.
Lost both categories.
Okay.
It lost to Take My Breath Away from Top Gun for Best Original Song.
Fucking lame. Fucking cowards. You fucking basic bitches.
Also, you know what else lost to Take My Breath Away that same year? Somewhere Out There from An American Tale.
You fucking cowards! You fucking clowns! You absolute clowns! I just got to the Roger Rabbit ending. The end? Question mark? Yep. You fucking children! Can we go back in time and yell at the '80s Academy?
Can we Ruffalo this? Can we Ruffalo?
Yeah.
Cons!
Yeah. Unpop your mouth from the fucking teat, you baby. It's time to yell it. Oh, did it take your breath away that Tom Cruise, a fucking hot man whose only disability is that he has to carry a step stool with him, got a girl? Did that take your breath away? That a guy can fly jets and high heels?
How did that win best original song?
Fucking babies. Somewhere Out There should have won.
Yes, absolutely.
Just so we're clear, again, I like Little Shop of Horrors. Somewhere Out There, American Tale is one of the greatest movie songs of all time.
And it lost to Take My Breath Away.
That's fucking pathetic. That's why
ridiculous.
they laugh at America. That's why the world laughs at us and say we don't have culture.
We don't have good taste. We don't have cultures
How
because we do
dare
stuff
you
like that.
disrespect the Mouskowitzes and Audrey, too.
And then best visual effects lost to Aliens, which, that's
Okay,
fine.
that's fair.
That one
That's
I'll
fair.
give.
Yeah, Aliens is pretty fucking rad. That's a
I'll also
worthy
say
ass whipping.
This was also the same year that Crocodile Dundee got nominated for best screenplay, so...
You know what? I honestly do fucking love that movie. I fucking love
I honestly
Crocodile
don't remember what the screenplay is. So-
Yeah, it's kind of just a classic fish out of water. Fish out of water.
Sure.
Fish out of water. We
Either
actually
way.
have some friends in Australia. Brody's probably hearing this. He's like, yeah, it's not Australian. This is Australian.
This is Australian.
That ain't a knife. This is a knife.
But either
Just
way,
insulting the shit out of
Take My Breath Away. Fuck
Take
you,
my breath
Academy.
away, you
Fuck
fucking
you.
assholes. You little poopy diapers. How
God!
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 God! We just wake up every day and we're like, Did the Mouskowitzes win? No, it was Take My Breath Away. God!
God!
It like still haunts us. This is our Waterloo. This is our Roman Empire.
Yeah. This is my
Add
Roman
it to
Empire.
Toni Collette for biggest fucking snubs in Oscar history.
Come on. Do better,
That
Academy.
actually is insulting. That's fucking infuriating. All right. What else about Little Shop of Horrors, Alex? Wrap us up.
Look, I just love this movie. It's a fucking blast. Like, I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who can't find something to enjoy in this thing.
Let me ask you
Whether
a
it's the
question more
music-
pointedly. Do the theater people appreciate and love this movie, or do they do the whole it's not what the musical is, so I downgrade? You know, some like musical people, the movie changes stuff and they don't appreciate it. Where would you say this ranks on that makes the musical theater fans happy as well scale?
I feel like it probably is up there. Like, again, I'm a bad barometer for that because I think a lot of movie musicals are bad anyways. But I think personally, between me and like my mom, who's not a snob at all, my mom loves this movie. So again, and she loves Audrey too. Like, those are great. It's just great.
The cast is so fun, man. Ellen Greene is great. Vincent Gardenia is great. Like, I mean, everywhere you turn, there's just talent.
Everybody's
They're
good.
crushing. The movie looks awesome, right? I love this kind of seedy New York background where everything is just wet and rotten and gross so that we can also aspire to grow out of it, man. I fucking love it, dude. Rick Moranis is
just
king.
great.
It's great.
I mean, what a way to end this month, and then what a way to prime for October.
That's
I'm
right.
fucking
We're starting
psyched, man.
our horror movies 1 week early. Next,
I'm so
actually,
excited.
not even next week, man. In days, in but a few days, we will start the October Mega Marathon. Every single fucking day in October, a brand new horror movie podcast, 31 brand new podcasts. We are starting with, we're going to complete the entire Omen franchise, then the X trilogy, and then the entire Critters franchise. We have some other stuff that, by the time we're recording this, we're still ironing out the whole schedule. But if you go find us on social media, right, Film Alchemist, we'll have the schedules posted there as soon as we have them. Right, if you go to TikTok, you'll be seeing clips. YouTube, you'll be seeing all that good stuff, man. Please go support us over there. Make sure you go to patreon.com/filmalchemistpod to make sure you get the other 3 episodes, because what's the point of 28? If you're going to do that many, do the 31. Be a completionist. It means the world to us, helps us out a fucking ton, and we appreciate you. Make sure you're leaving 5-star ratings and reviews. Make sure you go check out misfitparade.net. Subscribe over there so you can see the movies we're making. Also, check out my video work on Looper. More than anything, guys, we are so fucking pumped it's October. The October Mega Marathon is our big event that we do every year. We kind of base the health of the entire show off of this month.
And ourselves.
It's a very exciting time. We've been working so fucking hard to get this to you guys. We cannot believe it's finally here. We are so excited. So let all your friends know. We'll see you on October 1st.